making eyes at me.
Well, to everybody, my appreciation to you,
yeah,
Stuart.
we're live. Hi, everybody. We're back.
Hello.
We'll address Jordan Reed right away with £2. Thank you so much for the super chat. Are we counting the Tricom badge from Discovery?
Do you think we should? Audience, vote now.
Just had this discussion before we went live. It is the tricorder of their era, but it's also a com badge. We might add it, depending how it goes.
Let us know. Vote now, forever hold your peace.
And yes, Photonic X, this is live. Welcome.
I'll be honest. You said photonic, and I thought you said photonic cannon. I was thinking, why? Just the way you said photonic cannon was exactly right to the photonic
tricorders. Do you remember those? They blow up. Actually, Spock blew up his tricorder. Well, no, the Gorn blew up his tricorder.
And then then the Gorn also blew up a communicator. The Mirror Universe. How does a communicator self-destruct?
Yeah, power cell. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a good question.
So that's kind of fun, actually. Gorn have managed to self-destruct 2 different objects. Huh. Should there be? Would there be an anti-self-destruct button? And like, that's like a lot to make these things go kablooey.
I picture the tricorder one to be like a feedback loop of some kind. Like a But yeah, you'd think you might be able. If you had time, you could probably disarm it. But
I feel like phasers should be quite easy because it's a giant phase energy pulse, like a feedback. But I think a scanner, you could put a lot of power into scanning. But to think that you could such scan it blows you up is quite a funny old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go vote on the poll, guys.
Yes.
We'll be started.
Yes, Dan, we do. Is there anything in a pip, in a TNG pip, or is it just meant to be metal? Do you think?
It's a good question. I would think they would have like at least a beacon or a tracking beacon or a particular kind of metal that could be traced. I don't know.
Because you could put something in there. I mean, at the very least, if there were a little life signs monitor, like a boom 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 boom, like a monitor, because you're always going to have them on. But then they're otherwise just metal, like a little piece of conceptually future brass. I'm not against that. It's just like then they are just sort of adorn. Anyway,
pips are cyanide capsules. That's great. And the lieutenant commanders are lucky because the black one is the antidote. they're the only rank that gets that.
So you always need a low-ranking half-seas on your team.
Yeah, the lieutenant commanders can dish those out.
Oh goodness! But they only have one, so think carefully.
Yeah.
God. I love how these things just go in directions, right? We come in, we think tricorders, cyanide pips. Huh? Yet it flows.
That's why lives are fun.
Yes.
All right, yeah, so we're ranking tricorders in a tier list today, guys. We got a bunch of them. Don't know how many. 4, 6, 8, 10, I'm doing math.
Quite a few.
Well, 30 of them.
There's a couple of cheeky ones, but you know what? There's a reason for each one, and I will start sharing. See you in a minute.
Okay.
We need to fix these problems.
Which gives me a chance to talk to you guys. Hit that like button. We have 39 of you here, 15 likes. Hit that like button if you're just joining us. And don't forget to be part of the conversation in the chat. Also, please consider super chatting. Thank you, Jordan Reed, for doing so. We appreciate it. It all helps support the channel and helps us do what we do here. So if you want us to continue doing what we do, super chat in. We'd appreciate it. Plus, in these ones with the tier listings, if you don't agree with our assessment, you can actually bump them up or down one rank or one tier with a $5 super chat. If you're that passionate about it and you think it belongs in a different spot, we can do that. Larger super chats, we can even move it more than one tier rank. So just keep that in mind. You guys are a part of the conversation. It's not just Sam and I, it's all of you. So let us know your feelings on that. But like I said, hit like, click the button, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. YouTube is notorious for unsubscribing people, so please do that. Also hit the bell notification icon to all so you don't miss any time we go live or do any uploads, which we do constantly. We have weekly uploads and you don't want to miss anything. So hit that bell notification icon to all. There's also a join button down there at the bottom so you can join the channel. and joining actually supports the channel on a monthly basis, which we appreciate. But you guys get your own rank. You see your name at the end of our. See the end of your name. Sorry, you just came in and ruined my flow. In our fleet video at the end of all of our edited content, so you get actually assigned on a ship. You get to see your ship fly by. You get your name on the ship plaque. It's a cool little fun feature that we have. So click the join button and become part of the Trekyards community. You also get our Discord where you guys can hang out with us and all the other people that are serving on your ship and others. And you can do the same thing over on Patreon/Trekyards. Patreon is another monthly service where you get the same thing, rank privileges and perks, all that apply over there as well, if that's something you'd rather do. So please consider doing that. And of course, there are links down below to the Teespring and the TeePublic. We got ourselves quite a bit of cool Trekyards merch. So if you want to check that out, we'd appreciate that too. Hopefully there's something there that you might want to pick up, and we would love to see you wearing it at a convention or whatever. So consider doing that. We would really appreciate that. So there's lots of ways to help us out and support us here on the channel. One of the biggest ones is hitting like I said, and just joining in the chat or the conversation. And of course, super chatting. Super chatting. If you super chat, you're a superstar to us. So yeah, please consider doing all those things.
Had to move my washing over the radiator. We have broken in the house, so I use radiator there. Real life. Everyone does one. But anyway, hi, Tricorders. Now, I have a special affinity for Tricorders. Always have, probably always will. This is one of the few things that I purchased as a poor student back in 2011-12 as the one thing to zest up my first fan film, Temporal Anomaly, by purchasing the one on the left, the Voyager one from. I still have it. It still works amazingly, and even the guy that built it's like, oh, it still works. Well, yes, I take care of it. Because for me, when you bring that onto screen, just the interactiveness of the lights just does all of the work for you to sell the moment. A phaser is cool, but instantly it brings it to life. And I've had the great pleasure and expensive pleasure to be able to invest in tricorders over the years for Trek Short. So I have an exorbitant collection of them, which is always a good day when I get to use them because each single one sings in its own unique right. I'm missing the ones that aren't produced by the guy, but maybe someday. I just like them because they come to life in a way. And the amount of time I've spent in my editing suite of doing the same tricorder noise, like turning it from the left ear to the right as you turn, because that subtle effect does do something. Yeah. So tricorder. I always love the ones that my dad had, the Playmates. I've always liked them. They're very small. As with all these things, we said many times before, the play ones you think, oh, that's cool. As soon as you get the correct scale, like, oh, I see what they're going for.
Yeah.
As if it was intentional.
Yeah.
I just like tricorders. I just think they're really, really fun.
I'm the same way. Have been all my life.
Yeah.
My brothers had the Star Trek Adventures set model kit that had the wonky looking tricorder and the wonky looking phaser. I remember playing with that when I was a kid. Yep. And then, yeah, anytime I could get one, I would, like the Playmates TNG one and stuff like that. So they're just fun. They're just a cool little prop to have. So
yeah, and they bring you just into the world in a way that's special. And I remember I was at my grandma's once. I wanted to take some. I don't remember why. And I just scanned her cat. And I took a picture, and it's a really good picture because it's like really in focus, and it's just it is Star Trek, right? A phaser's not quite the same. So I'm just yeah. Big fan of tricorders. Yeah.
And Patrick James, $5. G'day, all. Teach me. I know next to nothing about tricorders. I like them. I am just ignorant.
This is gonna be exciting because I did find other ones. I'm pretty pleased with the batch.
Yeah, we got a lot to look at. So, Dave and Laura, hey, haven't seen you in a while. $2. No one rocked a T-quarter like Spock rocked it. Oh, don't even still. That is one of my biggest pet peeves and always has been since I was a kid. It's like, thank you, Leonard Nimoy, for showing off the fanciness of this prop that has nothing on the display screen that you're looking at, yet somehow you're magically linked to it mentally. That just annoyed the shit out of me.
He's trained to read it successfully.
He's just got one of those, like, screen protectors for your phone where at a certain degree only you can see it.
I mean,
maybe.
Go for it. And also, Dave and Laura says, Laura's in the lab, and then pretend to work while it's on the big screen. Well, hey, we're on the big screen.
Perfect.
Fun stuff.
But yeah, the other thing that bothers me is when fan films, not yours, fan films do the same thing with the tricorder. Hold it towards the camera. Look at all the buttons. It's just a TOS channel. Like, no, please don't. If you do, take some time and put something on the screen.
Another thing you realise quite quickly is that a tricorder is a practical physical problem. I use this as an example. You know, like instinctively you're like, oh, it should be sort of here-ish. But if the camera's looking here, you got to do this for it to be on screen. Mm-hmm. Only way it looks good is it's right. So the amount of times I'm like, I'm sorry guys, awkwardly hold it because it looks better because it's what the camera sees, not what you see. Yeah. I'm sure that's often you know, used to it. Although mother effing Marcus, 10 years ago he was fine. In this century, this decade, for one in particular, he slammed the tricorder closed every goddamn take. And it's like, that survived 10 years and it's like so much to replace to the point of ridiculousness. Because, you know, I told him off several times. Because it feels natural, like close it and no, stop.
Yeah, we've each got many, you got more tricorders than I do, but I've got a bunch too, like the Roddenberry one and stuff. They're really nice.
Yeah, I didn't get them out just because it's a whole thing.
It would be distracting too.
Yes, they are very fun to play with. So, Stuart.
Yes.
Let's rank them. I do not think that we're going to be quite as opinionatedly diverse in this, perhaps. In the phases, there's a little bit of, you know, sometimes these have a bit of, I think we're more gentle today, because I think they're all kind of good in their own way.
Yeah.
It's about how much, I don't know, how much good they are in their own way. I'm interested, Stuart. I'm interested.
I am too. Well, let's start off with a banger.
Oh, did you explain the super chat can move the things?
Yep.
Excellent.
Did all of that.
Keep that in mind.
Bing.
Oh, starting with the literal classic. Go first, Stuart. You bugs this one.
I mirrored Jadzia's comments in Trials and Tribulations. Can't beat the classic black, the silver highlights. It is a product of its time with the strap and the size of it. It's like a transistor radio type size, but I think it's fine. I wish they would have done something on the display screen. I mean, they did in one or two episodes with like a close up, but I wish that the shots of like them using it, and I wish Spock would have actually carried it correctly. First of all, I also like the
damn you, Nimoy.
I also like the idea of the data disk slots, and there's also that bottom part as well, which can hold like a scanner or various other things. So it's actually a pretty practical device for a Starfleet officer. Plus the shoulder strap definitely helps. But yeah, I think it's classic. It's got to be, you know, it's got to be on here. We're going to do it first, get it out of the way, and because from here on out, they're very more fancy, I guess, more or less. There'll be a few that might not be, but anyway, yeah. What about you? What do you think of this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's classic for a reason. They had the pure inspiration. This is the only one with actual just inspiration that's come in at 100%. They had, you know, how do you create a scanner that looks futuristic, that is practical, modern, reliable, that you know you're actually going to use, has to have things that move and do, it has to have, you know, Matt Jeffries and Eric's sense of construction logic, and there's something very structural about this. It's a simple box which is sleek and efficient. You know, you don't have to overcomplicate with overcomplicated shapes. The screen's fun. I love the fact it's actually a screen with the extruding glass. It's a fun effect. I do that in something else. And to see a digital recreation of a thing on top of a 3D model of glass that's actually that curved, it gives it a unique vibe. Because of course it does. That's fun. I love the fact that several things are data discs. You know, I see it, but that's what they are in other versions. The fact that Moire, whatever, moves and gives some interactivity while not actually moving, like it's an effect, is very clever. Certainly, yes, it works better as a U-prop because you're scanning and you can see the data. As soon as you reverse it, as you say, it breaks as a prop because it can't do that. Because where you're scanning from, there's no distinct place.
Yeah.
Which is not a mandatory thing. I like, you know, scanning everything, right?
But that's where over shoulder the shots and behind you can see it, you know.
But I love it, and it would be insanely easy to do a modernized version and just sleek out the screen. Although I do understand the logic of that little grill is the comm speaker, because that's what is on TOS Enterprise. Like, I see a logic there, right? They just couldn't visualize a non-visible audio. I assume that's what it's meant to be, right? Like,
yeah.
No, it's great. It's really simple and nice. Yeah.
So the question is it S tier or A tier? Because it's going to be in one of them.
I would say A, because it's still just a box. But it's a very nice box.
I was going to rally for S.
Because I've got to go like raw design quality. Like, it's really nice, but would be what I would say. It you know.
We should stone Samuel to death now.
Yeah,
That's okay.
You know, it's top tier A, but I just don't know if it deserves that creme.
It's A plus.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, well, I say at least S, because it's the one that started it all.
At least S.
Classic.
Oh, goodness.
At least an S. So this is where you guys, since we disagree, you can choose for us with a super chat. The first person that super chats in. Somebody super chats in $2 and says S. It goes in S. But if somebody super chats in right after that, it says, $5 and A, like, oh, well. So you guys get to help or hinder, as the case may be.
Yeah, this is we've pled our case, pleaded our case. It is now really up to you guys. Either way, it's a winning one. But
Herd Sire says it is very boomerish, C or lower. I hate the term boomer.
Right. Yay. But yeah, too simplistic for us. I agree, right? It's lack of actualness. Like I said, I'd love to do a 10% redesign, just modernize it a little bit.
Well, they did for Strange New Worlds. We're going to look at that one next.
Well, that's a bit more than 10%, but yes, indeed. Do we ever actually see a shot of the inside of the pouch?
I don't think so. There's different versions that I've seen over the years that are like storage, or a lot of times just batteries go in there. And there's one I have an app on my iPad actually where they can click the bottom and there's like a grill and like a green light and a red light, like almost like like large fuses or something. So there's different takes on it. So, but officially, I don't know. I don't think we actually did see that. So,
and I my dad has been guilty of putting his wallet in there and his keys.
Yeah.
Because it is TOS is not a functional cosplay if you're doing it properly.
Yeah.
So having a spot's actually quite useful.
So we got 2 super chats. Ozzy $2 S super, and Dave and Laura throwing $5 S. Make it so.
There you go.
There we go.
That's okay. Hey, I'm fine with that. I wanted to put my yeah.
Cool. Well, like I said, let's pull in the Strange New Worlds one right beside it. This is
the upgraded one.
It's funny because this is the oldest one and the newest one production-wise. We're starting
Enterprise. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Yes, it is. Sorry.
They're filming Strange New Worlds right now.
Yep.
That's what I meant.
Yep.
So the Strange New Worlds one is their reimagining of this one. And honestly, I think they did a friggin' great job. I'm not the biggest fan of the flap folding down and having the stuff on it. Like that covers the top flap. You know what I mean? Like you can tell that it's... And they even mention it in the Lower Decks crossover one. It's like that one model before the TOS one. I think they did a really good job. And this is where Strange New Worlds, I think, has really stepped up its game from what Discovery was doing.
Several steps, Stuart. Several steps.
Yeah. It's slimmer. It's a little bit more refined shape-wise, but it still invokes that sense of the original one, and I think they did a great job with it. The displays are exactly TOS as they should be, but something about that flap, like I'm glad they evolved it to the next version, which is TOS. Honestly, just seems a little bit more sturdy.
And it's funny because found everything here, but I wasn't necessarily looking at pictures in an active way. That's not a flattering picture of the Stranger Worlds tricorder. Because that looks incredibly boxy in comparison to TOS, which has an elegant dimensionality. It looks better in the show. I think it actually looks significantly worse in that picture, so I've got to try and think how I remember from the show. But yeah, the fact is you can see a one for one, in essence, right? A 1-for-1, which is, as I said a minute ago, just do it, but change it a bit. But I do think that the angular nature of it looks significantly worse to the TOS, curved, gentle curves. It just looks like a box. TOS does not feel like a box, even if it is a box with curves. So aesthetically, it's worse looking for me, but it's the one before, so I'm fine with that. Although I do like.
Also one I like. This is also one I like to hold. Like I saw it in person in Chicago when it was on display with the Stranger Worlds exhibit, and it's really nice looking. But I'd love to hold it and get a feel for it as opposed to just looking at it, because I find I'm very tactile. Once I like hold a model or whatever, I get a new appreciation for it, and I'm sure this would be the exact same.
Yes, but it's not wowing me. And yeah, the flapping down, it gives you a lot more functional. Like it does make a lot of sense to have a flap that's just a flap on the TOS, and then just a flap that's sticking out could be damaged. At least there's some structure there. But to me, it's lost a lot of the beauty of the TOS one. It's you know, it's a prototype. I'm gonna be on a limb and say it's a solid B, because I was saying A for TOS. This to me is one step lower.
I was going to put it at an A.
Yeah,
so,
in terms of beauty, it's clever, but it's a worse design to me. It's just how boxy it is, you know.
Well, it's the precursor to that one, so I mean, they got to take that into account.
I did. B.
Okay. Yeah. I say A again.
There you go.
Put it one below the TOS one.
Because remember, A is amazing, S is secret sauce, so B is like, that's really good. This is really good, but it's not. It looks because it wasn't inspired, right? It's based on amazing, and they had to do some odd things to it. Just curve it out a little bit will be all you need.
Well, I guess we need another tiebreaker. We don't usually have this many that early, but we pulled in two of the good ones right away. So
yes. Up to you.
Anybody
guys.
wants super chat? Because we got B, 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 A, triple A.
Does have a shoulder strap? Yes.
Yeah, it does have a shoulder strap.
It's a wonderful D update, but it's just not as nice looking. And I'm going by aesthetics, right?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of B votes, so I'm willing to put it in there. But if somebody wants to super chat and lock it in for sure,
super chat is the decider.
You can make it A if you wanted to, but I wanted to put it in A. I'm just going to say that right now. But the consensus seems to be B.
Well, it's up to them to put the nail in the wonderful coffin. You know, I did look for, because my brain remembers a cage tricorder in the sense that they did a tricorder sort of scene, but all I could find was a fan version, which is great. I actually really liked it, but I thought I couldn't really include a fan version.
Yeah, I've seen the one you're talking about.
It's good. It's very in keeping with the silliness of the era.
Yeah.
Almost. I thought almost I could include it, but not quite. Right, what do you guys think your subject will decide? S, A, B, C, D, or F? Or F. I actually think it's a B. Very high B, as I said, but
yeah,
doesn't look as nice.
I'm going to slot it in B for now. If somebody wants to change it,
okay,
feel free.
So
there we go. Let's get these out of here. Now, where are we going to go next? Dun, dun, dun.
I have no control, so I don't know.
I know you don't. I love it. There you go.
This is the see if you're random. This is the TNG Mark II medical tricorder. It's specific.
So, Mark, when was this used? Because that scanner is sleeker, I think.
Yeah. This is the second version, medical version. Because medical, it's
when was the first time we saw it?
Don't know. Where's TNG? TNG early DS9.
Okay.
Because this is one where I believe that little pod thing is the first one that goes into the back, whereas not the original TNG one, it goes off the top.
Yes.
Because it It's a different tricorder design, and they might stick some other things as well. I want to be fair to medical tricorders, not to leave them out. Obviously, you can see it's a TR560 tricorder. Yeah, this one, yeah. Although, is it you next? Or do you do Stranger Worlds as well?
I think I did Stranger Worlds.
Okay, this is since we're out of order. This is the 2nd gen TNG medical. TNG tricorder is a classic looking thing. Ironically, unlike TOS, this one had to work. So TOS could make conceptual shapes that looked sci-fi advanced. This had to have a real screen in and have real lights in. So therefore it had to be bulky in a way that allowed to do so, which is why as the eras progress, they get smaller and sleeker because the technical stuff inside can be smaller and sleeker. So the TNG tricorder, which I don't have this particular one, but I'm assuming they're very similar, is big. But as soon as you hold it, it feels very natural. It feels very logical. And, you know, what an iconic swap. The fact that it flaps into itself means it's very portable and neat and protective. All the buttons, a big red button. Big red button.
Emergency.
Big red button. Yeah, it's a classic. And obviously the scanner's the thing we're really deciding on here. I like the scanner. It reminds me of a cricket. Nice, sleek, and scannable. Yeah, it's nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the TNG ones. I really do. There's a lot of things going on, flashing lights, different settings. And I've had tricorder apps on my phone where each of those buttons on the side, beside the screen, click that, you get a different reading, and then the other buttons do different things as a result, which is really fun. The issue I have is the hinges are a little bit wonky for me. They're a little bit too big for futuristic. I actually really prefer the X06 ones where it's just like a magnet and it's smooth, you know? I think those hinges speak to the time they're built because that's what we can use. I don't know. I just wish those weren't there.
Yeah.
You know? But the scanner is way better than the original medical scanner.
Yes. Well, I like them both. I like both of you.
I do too.
Things.
But I like this one a little bit better.
Okay. It's more creative feeling, and hinges. You know, you got to imagine that there might be this thing in Starfleet saying these things are going to have 50-year lifespans. Like structurally, they're going to be open and closed 45 million times. We'll make old school really good hinges. We're not going to be fancy. So you know what I mean? Like if the one thing is to open and close, it's like there's an advert about the new flippable phones where there's a robot doing this.
Yeah.
To keep it going for a long time, to prove you can achieve for thousands of opens, because if most people don't upgrade the phone every year or every 2 years, it's every sort of 3 or 4. So that might be a 2.3 million open sort of thing. If the one thing that it needs to do is, it's like I remember one of my phones died because the power button stopped working. So obviously it's what you press every day many times. So that has to be an insanely good button. So I can buy it being the bulkiest thing.
Nature's Guard throws in €5. Ah, yes, TNG and its love of maker caps, be it ships or marker caps, be it ships or scanners. Yeah.
Thank you.
And for super chat, so thank you so much for the super chat, Nature's Guard.
Like your what is that? It's a dog deer.
Dog deer. Oh dear.
But yeah, I mean, really classic. These look incredible on screen. I know it's the nostalgia, but when I get to do an actor with them on screen, it just pops in a way the Voyager does, but in a different way. Just how big and bulky, and there's lights at the front. I mean, what a genius idea is having moving lights to imply scanning. I mean, the simplest, bestest idea. Now, of course, I would hearken to say the TNG tricorder in general should be an A. This is, of course, the medical version of the scanner. I guess an A as well, because it's an excellent design. This is a good scanner, you know?
That's exactly what I was thinking,
Yeah. And like I say, the Playmates, and you've held the Playmates, obviously, sure, is about 40% too small.
Yeah.
Which is odd, because the phaser is about 40% bigger. And they do feel small. Notably small. Too small. They feel like a toy. The real ones, and also heavier. They need to be heavier. When you hold a real one, it pays off. Yeah. It's just a really solid design.
All right.
Remember, super chat to move things if you really want to.
Yes. Captain Corky, member for 22 months. Rick Benson. TNG is an A for me. I even have the Playmates one. Yes.
They could print money if they could make these normally.
Yeah.
Classic TNG one.
That's the Playmates one. Essentially, the one that everybody has.
Well,
this isn't the toy version of it, but this is the real one. Yes, I don't understand that. Just saying.
Stuart, what do you thought about the classic TNG one?
It's great. It's great, and I love the sound of the I love when I just love all the sounds, the scanning sounds,
Yep.
Even when it closes. Which I don't know if this one did. I don't think the TN
Yeah.
did
oh,
it.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it did. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's always fun to add that effect in post. That nil. Yeah.
Yeah, the Roddenberry one does that automatically.
I mean, this is of course the same as one we've looked at. The fact that it's not got a hole at the back does not diminish. Although it does leave me wondering, what can the medical do this can't? Because they've had to cut out a hole at the back to include the scanner, which will be moving tech. But is the tech then that would be there just in now the scanner, which is now movable? What is the difference technically?
That's the thing with the medical ones. I mean, I understand that the scanner is to get more accurate bio readings or whatever, as opposed to the ones that are built into the tricorder, which you can use a regular tricorder for medical stuff as well.
Of course.
It could be medical databases in it, but at the same time, they can also uplink to the ship or whatever to have that information. But I guess it would be good for away teams if the ship's out of range or if there's... So I don't know what the difference between the medical and the standard would be necessarily, but...
Because I would assume that it's all... there's a silly thing in PC gaming where your graphics card is what controls, obviously, what you see. It's what's projecting the graphics you're looking at, graphics card. And you can tell the graphics card to install one of two different things if you're in NVIDIA, which is one of the companies, a studio bit of software or a gaming bit of software. The gaming software, in theory, is meant to tune your graphics card to work best for short duration, more intense performance. But it's just software based. The studio is meant to sort of the reverse, allow it to work in a longer form, whatever way. And there's two distinct options you're given at install which you want, even though they're just software. So the hardware is physically there both times, but the software is meant to give different results. So potentially the normal tricorder has more engineeringly tuned operations, because there's still be a limit to what you can do, versus the medical where it has the same thing, but then by swapping out a lot of the space, the sensors and this thing are very specific to the fine-tunedness. So most
it's like the difference between a standard transporter and a cargo transporter. Cargo transporters can beam people, but I think there's just more of a refinement on the regular ones for biomatter and stuff. We've kind of talked about that in our transporter episode, because there should really be no differentiation between the two except for larger pads for cargo. But anyway, I'm very happy to put this at an A.
Yeah, I mean the TNG ones are all an A. They're all very, very good. And I probably would have said a B until I held them, but there's a reason for them to be so big, and they work, and they're always fun.
Yeah. All right. This is...
Where are we going?
Oh.
Hopefully somewhere random.
Know. I guess I'm first for this one.
Uh-huh.
Cool. The Kelvin 2009 tricorder. I actually have one of these. Mine is one of the ones, the toy ones, and it's complete garbage. It's just a little toy, but at the same time, it's also awful. You've got like two buttons that you can push there. There's two gray buttons. It's got a little flap that opens just for the display. It does nothing else. And you got three flashing lights on the front. And then like a big microphone thing in the middle. It's it's not an awful design. It's just, it doesn't... For a reimagining of TOS, which is basically what 2009 was, it's absolutely god-awful. Everything in Strange New Worlds would have been better in the 2009 film, honestly. But, yeah. Based on the toy one, I don't know. I have not held a real one of these. I've not seen a real one in person. But the toy is just... I got it in the next room, and it's just... It's not... Yeah. And there's no real display. You got some flashy lights at the top there, a little bit like a status bar indicator, but no screen, no real actual functional information that can be displayed. At least the TOS one has a screen, you know. So
this to me, even though it's literally inspired, it feels uninspired. It feels like a boring curved box. I don't get it, right? And this is not a flattering picture, and I barely remember it from the movie. It's a thing. It's not got a charm. Doesn't really fit the phaser. It's not silly enough to be the normal JJ shit. And all it is a TOS shape. Ish. There's nothing else. I mean, it's not bad. It's just entirely forgettable, entirely boring, entirely uninspired. But it's fine.
Sums it up.
Like, doesn't piss me off like the phaser.
Well, Patrick, member for 10 months at the rank of captain.
Thank you.
This was sent when we were talking about the TNG one.
Yep.
This tricorder is S tier for me. Much better than the newer versions that are basically just phones with a case around it. We'll get into those. And then K70 throws in £5 and says, Sam, Chapter 1 of Star Trek Defiant is completed and upload.
Oh, cool. Is that TNG Defiant or TOS Defiant? Because that's a radically different story. Yeah, I like animating with Defiant. It's fun. Yeah, very Game Boyish. Yeah, well said. So
minus the screen, which would have been helpful on a tricorder.
So my gut says D, just because it's uninspired. It does not deserve F, but it doesn't even get into the category of C.
Yeah, D's perfectly acceptable to me.
But not a mean D, just a D.
Yeah. And Olivia's here with $10. Thank you, Olivia. Question: why doesn't the EMH have his own holographic tricorder that he can just conjure up in thin air? Or why isn't he just a walking tricorder? Think about the time the Doctor could have saved. Well, I would assume it's much like the T-1000 in Terminator 2. Can't make complex machinery, moving parts, things like that, would be my guess. Plus, that would take an awful lot of his memory banks and buffers to do all of that. So why bother when you have a tool that he can just pick up that's already made for everyone else in Starfleet?
Well, it's. I mean, he is a tricorder in the sense he has the database.
Yeah.
But he would, because the tricorder is a scanning tool. You can't recreate the mechanical subtleties of a tricorder scanning tool inside the holodeck. It's too complicated, and it's too much unique material. So he could build one that wouldn't scan, and he can't scan as being just a hologram. Now, if there were sensors in the sick bay that he could access, then in theory, yes, he could tap into the sensors of the bay and scan it, and make a joke out of my tricorders, but really he's using the scanners. But in reality, having a separate computer to do all the scanning, with all the processing happening there, it saves him the thought. And holodecks can only do so much. Like, processing is the issue.
The only thing that would make sense is if his holographic emitter, which is from the future, could act as a scanner itself, but
then you're implying it's also got full hollow, also full scanning, which then makes it even more powerful. And then why not make it a phaser? But it's interesting. I mean, the joke could be there, but at the end of the day, he's just a photon. He's just a database on legs, right? I said just. He's just a database on legs. I haven't got much else apart from that.
All right, next up, this one's yours.
Oh. Where are we going? Ah, yes, the Endgame Tricorder. Now, there is a medical version, but it's just got an antenna on the top. And I was like, we're good with this one. So this is a custom one designed for Endgame with the Voyager future, because, of course, we did see a new shuttle. We saw a new uniform. We saw a few things that were new to kind of show the difference. This is, I think, it's technically 2 years after Picard season 3, I believe. Of course, it was made by the same team, so they just made a smaller tricorder, and it is very small. It also has a lot of weight distribution issues, because I have one as well, and the bottom is a bit heavier than you think it should be, so it kind of flaps open on itself. What I like about it, and you'll see in one of the films, is that because the entire top is a blue, multi-layered, it's very focused. Blue is stronger than green for whatever reason. So you put it next to an actor, it is bright. It really stands out in the scene, but it lets it pop really well. It is small. the lack of buttons is slightly annoying to me. But the screen being huge is awesome. It's got this weird grilling in the middle for no reason, but I do play with it sometimes. Like, oh, there's a grill there. Like, is it a fun texture? It's like rubber. I like it in general. It's when it's like, you can make a phone smaller. It doesn't make it more user friendly, right? Sometimes the size is important for the functionality and the usability. So I'd rather have a bigger tricorder that was a bit bigger, just like the Nemesis phaser. A little bit too small for me, but I do like it. It looks good with actors, I will say, and it does feel more advanced if you put it in contrast, but it is a little bit too small for me personally. Your thoughts?
Never held one, but I do like the look of it. I do like the black. I like the larger screen.
Yeah, it's darker.
I like that the lower fold-out part has like a screen as well.
Yeah, it does have two screens. Yeah.
You say lack of buttons, but I mean, it looks like there's little touch buttons, or the oil cars touch buttons on the screens, obviously.
Sure. Tiny buttons.
So yeah, it's a nice one for me. I think it's a perfect advancement because it is so thin.
Yep, it is very thin. Yeah.
And yeah, I think the black actually looks really nice.
Yeah, it's definitely darker.
It would blend into their uniforms and their holsters and backgrounds, and so I understand why they don't have all tricorders be black. But
Devereaux, yes, in theory, yes, they could or should have, but they didn't want to they wanted to save money and make something simpler. Because this is an original design. It's not just a 3D printed thing with a phone.
What did Devo say?
This should have been used in Picard then if it was around the same time. Yeah, it
should have been. Yes.
If they had the production forethought hindsight to do it, this would. Which would be a lovely reference if they'd had. They probably think it was too simple a prop, and then they shove a phone into it. So, this is when this is so logical. It's just not as aesthetic to me. Pure aesthetics, right? Where do you want to put it, Stuart?
I was thinking B.
I would agree with a gentle mid B.
Mm-hmm.
It just what it says on the tin, but I don't love it as much. But I it's really hard to put in films because of course it's from an alternate timeline. Kind of hard to put in stuff, but I did find a really, really good way, and it's got a significant part of the story it's in, so it's fun to see. I like it, just not as much.
Mm-hmm. Next up.
And the medical one has a giant antenna, which is weird.
Next up is the Discovery Tricorder. This one I really like, actually. I like their kit in Discovery. I like the communicators, I like the phasers, and I like the tricorders. This reminds me more of like what we see in Star Trek 3 that Dr.
Super
Marcus
close
is using, which is functional, looks nice, big screen. You got the 3 tricorder buttons on the side there, as well as the mic input thing, and then funky lights, and it actually carries over a design element from the Kelvin verse with that thing on the bottom, that round part.
Oh yeah. And it has a hand scanner which attaches into the back or the front or the side.
No, that's the wrong one.
So it is actually a medical or whatever. It has a separate scanner a la TNG.
Yeah. If anybody's wondering what the circle I'm talking about is on the Kelvin one, there it is there.
Jamie knows entirely different. We'll get to the Nemesis one soon.
So, see what I mean? Similar in that regard, but no, I really like the Discovery one. I like the full color display, and it again looks like there's buttons on the touch pad there, so I like it. Bulky, it's rugged. It works. It works for me. How about you?
Yeah, it's a really nice prop. Does it feel pre-TOS? Sort of. It doesn't feel like a literal TOS tricorder like Stranger World.
Like a tactical tricorder or something. Special ops.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like a tricorder variant. Sometime either away pre-TOS, so it's not as close, or Star Trek 3, as you say, just a different... It's a weird one, because it's not the format, but it is a nice prop. I like the screen a lot, I like the little buttons, I like the grills. It has an aestheticness that of extra design, even if it's just grilling or negative space. It looks nice. It does. I don't remember it much from the show. For whatever reason, don't remember it being used a ton. I mean, they didn't do much scanning, they did more shooting than scanning. But I wouldn't have said... But then again, it could be, it's Shenzhou, right? It could be 30 years pre-TOS, which would be fine. I don't know, where does your gut say place it?
Honestly, for design and stuff, I'd want to put it at either A or B.
I would say a high B.
B+, yeah.
Because I think it's from these two images, right? I'd say it looks nicer than the Strange New Worlds one, but it's a less faithful, logical design iteration.
Yes. Yeah. Like we said, it's more specialist of some kind.
Yeah, because it actually feels more curved. That probably isn't. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
And her chart says after TOS. No, this is pre-TOS.
Mm-hmm.
This is Discovery.
Mm-hmm. In theory, this could be a cage tricorder. Cough, cough. Oh, how many votes do we have in this poll? We have 103. Excellent, we can do now. We asked, well, you asked, when do you think...
When you think tricorder,
yeah.
Which pops into your head instantly? Classic TOS, TNG, or other?
What?
TNG wins with 70%. I think that says a lot to the age demographic of the audience right now, but that's okay.
Although, of course, TOS was 60 episodes and the TNG tricorder was in like 400.
True.
So it was in substantially more television. I mean, they kept the same design through every single show. So
when I think tricorder, I think of the only tricorder that existed during my time until TNG came out. So,
interesting. Oh, I'm going to start a new poll as well.
Go for it. And while he's doing that, guys, 80 of you here, which is amazing. Make sure you're all subscribed to the channel and click that bell notification icon. And we only have 48 likes, though. So let's try to get those likes up at least to 50. 2 more would be awesome. But hit the like button. Let's try to get up as high as we can. Maybe 70, 75 would be awesome. And keep in mind, guys, you guys have power in this one. If you don't agree with a ranking, you can lower it or up it with a $5 super chat. 1 tier. If you want to move it up way more or down way more, a larger super chat. We'll consider things. We'll consider things based on our discussion. But we can't throw something from S to F just because you don't like it. You know what I mean? So there are some rules here. Some rules. We got a new poll up right now, so go vote on that. Which design do you prefer for the classic tricorder design? TOS, Strange New Worlds, or Discovery?
Yeah. Same thing in 3 forms.
Yes.
Okay, interesting board so far. Interesting board. And guys, do let us know your thoughts super chat wise. Helps help the channel go.
Yes.
And we have fun. We got Nemesis tricorder, which is me.
Yes.
Nemesis tricorder. This shit. This is when they thought, aha, flat screen, pads. We have pads. Let's make tricorder a pad. Let's go away from the 19 years of a tricorder into a pad, into a phone, into a touchscreen pad. Now, yes, the screen size is incredible.
Yes.
But for some reason, having this little tiny flip thing just feels silly. I have one reluctantly. There are reasons I bought it. And to have to flip that, you always feel silly on screen. You know, normally it's like, this is like, it's silly. But it is kind of a cool. But as you can tell by the picture, if I'm tricordering you, the scanning beam is pointed up, so you can't see it in any other angle except this. So you've got to hold it like this, or you can't see it. And I've often told actors, please don't do this, do this. It's really awkward because it's you know, it is what it is. It's a very, very poor angle for that. And what the hell is that silver striped button on the bottom left?
That's the thing. This seems more to me like some kids' toys, like one of those magic pencil things. Like there's pencil. It looks like there's a stylus stuck in there, but there probably isn't. That's what it feels like to me. They just took something off the shelf and just modified it.
Which they definitely didn't. But...
Well, I don't know. I've got something similar to that upstairs.
Maybe inspired, but I know it was an original prop. Also, and this is a whatever version, but the fact that those top things are all stickers, you can see they're stickers, is a bit embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't even look good in the movie, really. You know, it's just sort of holding a flat thing.
I like the bigger display for sure. Much more information, and you can just reconfigure the buttons as you need with touchscreen. I think that's a very valid idea. But then it just becomes an iPad or a smartphone, right? So they got to be careful how they do it.
Although it was before iPads and smartphones, I believe. Just it was when touchscreens were a thing, but before smartphones. Because I had a touchscreen. Now I will say, in my fan films, I kind of refuse to call this the next tricorder because it abandons the good one. So I have an entire scene of a film or entire segment just explaining how this is a specialist tricorder It has a different scanning set that do special things differently. It says general, which is why Geordie uses it and Beverly uses it, because it could be configured to be very specialist for engineering or medical, but it doesn't have all the general things that Tricorder can do. So I can use both. And I will use both in a film because I think together they look kind of fun, but it's just for me always been a disappointment in design.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, this one is a D. As much as I like the big screen, that flimsy flap thing is just pathetic.
It's it's not a tricorder to me, Stuart. It's a screen.
Mm-hmm. It's a pad.
It's a pad. It's a pad with a flip. Yeah, it's a pad with a flip up thing.
Yeah.
Which I guess you could argue, it's like that great scene in First Contact where Picard has like 9 pads, and you're thinking,
yeah,
it could all be on one pad, sir. Yeah, but then you've got to move between screens. If you have physical screens, you can. This is the reports. This is medical. I would agree, Stuart. I'd say it's a solid D.
Yeah.
Uninspired and not fun, and I resisted buying this for a very long time, very very long time, but there was reasons, so I had it. And I'm happy I have it, but it just more of the collector in me.
Now this one, I swear to God, I have the exact same thing upstairs, but it's just like a memory game. The Simpsons memory game, just recolored.
Oh.
This thing. This is from Discovery Season 3, I believe. Or 4.
No?
What's this one from?
It's from Stargate Atlantis.
Well, why is it here?
Because I threw in a couple of bonuses, as it says. Because the Tricorder yet.
Sure.
So I included a couple of other fun universe ones. There isn't that many sci-fi Tricorders.
It's just a clear Game Boy, then.
It's an ancient life-size detector.
Yeah. Just because you like it, doesn't mean I like it. It's all right. I just wish it wasn't clear. Make it black, make it gray. It would be much better. I do like the big display, but again, there's not much going on, and I hate that it's see-through. So.
I love this to bits. It's my favourite props ever. It's so incumbent with the design of the Ancients, which is great. But I love the fact it's just a PDA in a shell. But you put it together, make it transparent, it gives a sort of depth feel. Slightly better on that version, because it's hard to see. But for me, seeing this on screen was so fun, because it showed we finally have a Tricorder in Stargate. A modern-day conceptual show. And it works entirely on psychic connection with your author, the person. So if you think, where is this? It can kind of link to that a little bit and show you it's a bit more connected, as well as just a button screen. There's a little bit of that going on. And it's just so pretty. And yes, it's detecting life signs. It can also scan, but primarily it's to detect life signs. So it's both functionally amazing, but also limited, because it's a tracker, but it can do a bit more. And it was a real working prop, because it was designed to be a thing, and sort of a full on-set prop. And yeah, getting one was a real joy, because the guy that made them for a few years and stopped. I think I managed to sort of convince him to make a new one. I got 2, because what if one breaks? Yeah, so I've always wanted one. And it's really good to see on screen. Some of my favourite props I own. So I'd give it an S tier for pure love factor of this prop and owning one. Beautiful. Beautiful!
But as far as Tricorders, it's an F for me. So
there's
no buttons. There's no.
There is. It's a giant button.
Sure.
It's one giant button. What do you mean? And then your brain is touchscreen.
Oh, okay.
It's a touchscreen.
It's an F. It's an F for Tricorder for me. For Stargate, I'd probably put it at a A or a B.
Let's compromise to a B then, Stuart. Just me being generous.
I don't know. What does the audience think?
Because there's a couple of other fun bonuses in here.
Yeah, it is like Ziggy from Quantum Leap.
But yeah, such a... And you've also got to be a certain DNA type to use it. It's locked to if you're an ancient, which they were able to fake, unfortunately for us, but it won't even turn on otherwise. Love it.
Well, guys, you can super chat in, let us know where to rank it, or just put it in the general chat. I want to hear your thoughts.
Love it. Such an iconic moment, and Stargate became sci-fi more. You have pole jumpers, you have...
Stargate. We're not talking about Stargate today.
I know. But I thought we'd find a few bonuses in.
It's not even the right franchise.
Well, I don't think you'll say that when the other bonuses come up, so let's not sour the milk with that.
We will. F, C, F, F, D, F. I'm not. See, we can't compromise on this one. I don't know. Where
Okay,
to put
throw it out then. Fine, move it. Won't do the
Well-
bonus ones. That's fine.
I don't get snippy.
Oh,
If you want to put it at a B or a C,
Doesn't matter.
because it's cool.
doesn't matter. Next.
Okay. This one.
Cardassian, Stuart. But
Hate it.
isn't it strange? It looks like an orb,
Yes, that's Bajoran.
which confuses me no end. I don't know what the logic was when designing this because it doesn't look Cardassian. And I feel like there was a clock that looked like this as well, in some Star Trek episode. Like, I mean, it looks kind of comfortable to hold. Like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
do you remember it
But
from the
if I had
show?
to guess, I would have said. I don't. If I had to guess, I would have said Bajoran or Ferengi for this one.
Yeah.
Not Cardassian.
I sort of like it though. It's kind of fun in its own simple way, although it does look like painted wood or resin. But it does not say Cardassian to me because it doesn't say Cardassian. I mean, the colours are right, you could argue. And it definitely hasn't got a working screen. Like, I like it in general. What do you think? It's a fun addition that fans won't even necessarily know.
As an alien one, it's kind of neat. Like it's cool to see alien tricorder designs. So I could put it as C for Cardassian.
I would say a pleasant C because it's it's hard to judge aliens, but yeah, it just doesn't. It just looks like an orb.
Yeah. All right. And I put your Stargate thing over here at B because you wanted to be, and it's not this franchise, so it's on the other side.
Ah. Next.
Next up. Okay. Let's see. Let's try to mix it up a bit here and do this.
Another
That's the full
curveball.
picture. Yeah, it's the full picture too.
This is the Galaxy
This looks
Quest
really
one.
familiar. Okay. Galaxy
Another
Quest.
fun bonus one to include.
It looks like a transport enhancer because it's got like the transporter pad design on it. It's like to help you like a transport. Yeah. This is similar to some Star Trek ones too with that hood thing.
That's why I thought it'd be fun to include it.
I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's cool enough for a scanning device, I suppose. How about you?
Looks like TOS with a bonus thing on the front. Because you can see the outer shell is almost TOS. Clearly it's trying to be a TOS communicator, a tricorder.
Oh, that shape. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the joke, isn't it? And they even do the joke where they hold it the wrong way around to scan. Because you don't know which side's right. Like it's a joke tricorder, which is why I like it. Because it's like it's very intentional, while being entirely different. Although I don't exactly understand what the thing is that. Because I don't remember from the episode or the movie how they utilize the top bit. Is it a pull out like this? Is it a pull out like this? I don't remember. Because it doesn't like you can fold it in because the angle's wrong. It looks like to me, unless it's a very clever mechanism that kind of pushes it back as well. I don't remember him looking into it a la Spock, but it would be very logical if it is. But I like it. It's a TOS modernized version that's different.
Yeah, I don't see much of the TOS-ness, but except it's just that basic shape.
Yeah. And the fact it's got a strap, which you can see the edges of.
Yeah. Give it a C.
Okay.
C. All right. What's next?
Steampunk tricorder, Elvis. Elvis, you don't know what steampunk is. You died before steampunk existed. Seeing all the curveballs in, are you? It's the Orville tricorder.
This is cool. I like this, the way that pops up. And very functional, looks like. It looks more like a communicator to me than a tricorder or a scanner. But no, I like that pop-up display, and I like the shapes that are on the main screen there. So that's much smaller than a tricorder. I think it's like palm-sized, if I recall correctly.
Well, it's very similar to their normal tech. I mean, their phase is also very small as well. They went for sleek. And there's scenes where they utilize the screen, and that's that circle is what you scan. You put the thing put that over the thing, and it scans it. So, but I mean, the motion of it popping up is fun. Tells you when it's scanning. There's a fun noise. The fact it's all just one big touchscreen, but with an organic shell. It's a nice looking piece. It's pleasant to look at, if a little bit, not dull, just underdone. But of course, when the TNG you had simple shell with lots of buttons that gave it life. Now you'd be lynched for that, wouldn't you? It'd be touchscreen or nothing. But if you have touchscreen, it's just a flat bit of glass with some colour on. There's a certain lack of pop that touchscreen offers, you know?
Yeah. This one I'm willing to put it an A or a B. There's not much information that can really be displayed. I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure the size. So.
Well, I think the entire bottom bit becomes the screen that shows you what's happening.
Oh, that's cool. Then.
This is a fan 3D print, so this is their static screen, but the bottom bit's a full.
Sergeant Montgomery says I prefer touch screen over button, except for when there's no force feedback and it just doesn't do anything. At least with a button, you can jury rig and do what you need to do. But if you got a dead screen, you got a dead screen. There's not much you can do. That's one of the problems I have with all touchscreen interfaces. But
well, I mean, do you have as not you, but the person in the chat, do you have a touch screen keyboard or a keyboard?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I would certainly not want to type on a flat surface and not know where the keys were and not really feel that is important. You know, that key press. It hasn't changed in how many years? Pre-typewriter? All of the years, Stuart. All of the years, keyboard's been the same. I would give this a pleasant B.
I was just thinking B.
It's sort of an underwhelming prop while still looking nice. You know?
Yeah.
And it is played off for something very simple in the show, as in, of course, they're tricorders. But to come out of the gate with a B in your first prop is quite an achievement for a brand new sci-fi show.
Yeah. All right. Back on track here. This bad boy. Hey, look, it's a Samsung phone. Sweet. This is Picard season 2 or season 3?
Well, in 2 it's a Confederation, and 3 it's a normal tricorder, but it's designed for both. So
it's
the black is only Confederation. It's normal colours for Federation, luckily.
Yeah, I prefer the black actually. But this looks cool enough, but then you realize what it is, and it's just a Samsung flip phone. So that being said, if that phone didn't exist, this would be very cool. Very, very full functional screen, all touch, so that you can reconfigure it as needed. But this one's a tough one for me to be able to judge when it comes to the time. But what are your thoughts on it? Because I know you have one.
I do, yeah. Remember, I messaged Terry and said, is it in season 3? Because I want to buy it if it's only going to be a Confederation tricorder that you see in a few shots of season 2. It was in season 3. Phew. So what I have the phone, a dummy phone, and I have a 3D print of the pieces with electronics. Now, it's very silly in terms of sizing, because all the electronics to make the lights move are in the top. The bottom is just a little shell. So it's very thin, and it's giant and fat! Unwieldy to hold, really big, and on the version that obviously the fan person made, you've got to click a button to make the lights go on, but it's really high, so you've got to hold the tricorder right up to the top. It's quite uncomfortable to hold. Emma hates it, because her hands are small, because she's a small lady.
That'd be a problem with a lot of tricorders, though.
Yes, but you've got to hold it some way to turn the lock button on, so it's very whatever. Like, from a pure perspective of cleverness, we have a full screen technical thing.
Yep.
Cool. From a design point of view, it's a tricorder with a lot less design in it.
Yes.
'Cause it's just a shell on a phone. It lost a lot. Now, luckily, it put back in the vum 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 light, and that's what makes it the tricorder. But I would not have utilized. I would have made a brand new prop, personally, and faked it, because they don't even do it that much in the show to warrant it being a real screen that does things. I mean, yay for the actors, but like, just replace the screen in post and have a really cool prop that's more balanced, that feels better in the hand. The fact that the bottom half is just a flat thing with some plating on, it doesn't feel good design-wise. And I certainly made the top 30% thinner. It's a weird progression, and it's actually fatter than the TNG one, which it really shouldn't be. So it's a nice idea, I think, not even poorly executed, but just misjudged as an idea.
I've never actually held one, so I don't know. I'm just kind of going off what you said. I love the display screen. I think that's a fantastic idea for a tricorder, personally. But so, do we rank it as a tricorder?
But also, isn't it lazy? Just say the whole thing's one big screen.
A little bit,
because it also devalues.
But it's also what we have today. It's functional. Like, you can switch apps or do whatever you need to reconfigure it, right?
But it takes away all the logic of the TNG one, that button, that data access, all the stuff that's there for a reason. It removes it. It's just now a screen. Of course, the Endgame one is canon, or as in was one version. It removes that from a concept. In Relativity, there's a tricorder that, again, this ignores as a tricorder. Like, it's a lazy design, but a logical real world thing. But this is meant to be a Trek tech prop, not a real world thing. So it's a weird hybrid of clever, but also, I think, whatever. I would say a C, because it's poorly proportioned and it does not feel good to use. It's okay. I would do. I'd love to version 2 it. You know, what do you think? What were you
I'm fine with a C. No, I just wasn't sure if we were going to judge it as a tricorder or as just a prop necessarily.
Yeah, it's all tricorders. Yeah.
I'd like to be able to hold one and see what it feels like, but I do like the idea of it.
Yeah.
I probably would have said a B personally, but
I think the irony is I probably would have, if I was them, I would have made the bottom screen segment look like part of the prop.
Yeah.
And then have like the grey texture and then buttons to feel as if it was a 2-part prop, as if Starfleet members need a 2-part prop, and then it could turn into a full screen as if it was like an intentional, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like having a watch. There's a screen, and it puts back on a watch face. Like, you don't need that, but it can sometimes feel more aesthetically cool.
Like this?
Yeah, but less fancy. Yeah, I don't make it thinner. It's just weirdly big. And considering how much tech you can fit into a small package, I don't know why it was made that big. It didn't need to be. But, hey.
Yeah, well, differing opinions in the chat, but you guys can make a difference if you super chat in and give us your thoughts.
That is important.
Rank them, because it's not always easy to rank these things. So.
And your thoughts, comments, questions, super chats win the day. Let us know.
All right, so next up is Prodigy.
That one's yours, go for it.
I personally absolutely love this one. I want to get a prop of this or a toy from Playmates. Not that they're going to do that, but I don't like that the whole left side slides up. I just wish the screen would slide up. That's the one thing that kind of bothers me a little bit. But again, super large display, very bright, and a lot of information can be displayed. It is see-through. I always had a problem with see-through things in like technology, because the other person on the other side can see what you're looking at. The Expanse, they have clear phones. They're just phones that are like clear. I mean, you could probably have an opaque mode where you can't see through it, or just hazy or something. Like a few things have done that as far as clear displays go. But I really like these. I think they're bigger and a little bit bulkier. But for a tricorder, mobility is important, obviously, so that's kind of an issue. Personally, I really like the look of the Prodigy stuff. This is a favorite of mine, so how about you?
Well, just like with the phaser, it's designed to be a bit more showy. And I mean, there is precedent. It is far more like Nemesis, which is the one before this. But it's a pad.
Yeah, it is.
It's a pad that scans, right? It has not got, while it might look nice as a physical element, it's lost what makes a tricorder. It's a pad that scans, and it's unnecessary for it to slide up. In this situation, it doesn't need to do that. There's no reason for, and to have the top 40% be see-through, which makes it harder to see. In a bright, there's no reason whatsoever except fun, and that's not a good reason for things in Trek, especially because we like a bit more logic. It looks nice, but it feels far less functionally logical, and it's missing the blinkies. I mean, it's a pad, right? Now, obviously, you could say what we're saying is an experimental ship. I hope they ignore them in season 2 for anyone that's not on ProStar. But it's a pad, right? It's not a tricorder to me personally. Hasn't even got the flashing blub blub blub. I'd say a low C personally, just because it's a pad, and it doesn't. But you know, I'd say high C aesthetically, mid C tricorder overall. I don't know. What do you think? A tripad. Ha, Jamie. Yes.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Personally, in my ranking system, it would have been an S. I was going to put it down to an A, but it's your pad discussion, maybe to a B, maybe. But I don't think it deserves anything less than that.
Yeah, because it also is just a big screen and a shell, right? It's very simple. So aesthetically, hey. But tricorder. What do you guys think? Also, would you like phones to have S pens in? Or have pens in?
No.
I don't either. I don't see the point of them.
No.
I feel like I'd rather just have the option that it doesn't have it and be $100 less. Please.
For an artist or something, if it's a bigger phone and you want to doodle, that's fine. But it should be an accessories you buy separately.
Yep. I've never. What would I do with the S Pen? What would I do? I know there's a feature you can use it as like a trigger for the camera. And it's like, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have £100 less phone. Guys, this is a super chat. This is a super chat because this is how you judge it, right? It looks pretty. It makes some sense post Nemesis, but it's a pad on steroids. Super chat. What do you guys think? I think this could be any category, right? For different reasons. We said yesterday for one of.
For a pad, it would be an S for me, 100%.
I think pad, yeah. And in fact, if it was called a tripad, as in a fancy pad, very high ranking because it could do both, but worse, right? Because it can't do either well. I feel like if what it did right was it slid up like 10% and the top like came out and became a vroom, 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 like a tiny slide up, maybe like revealing the emergency escape like button or whatever. I just don't know why 30% goes up. Guys, you vote with the super chat. I really want to know what you guys think on this. I think this needs to be a you guys thing.
Yeah.
And I hope they have a standard one as well in the show. And it's funny. I don't know if have you seen the artists that designed this. His page like he submitted loads of variants. This was really far down. And most weren't tricorders. They were like weird steampunky like shapes that it was very odd. I mean, that's what you do in testing, right? What shapes do you want? But like over half are super far off the beaten path. Yeah. And this would be a great toy as well.
Yeah.
Like that much bright. If it actually was a working screen in any meaningful way, you could project like 3 screensavers on it. Yeah.
Patrick James, $2. A solid B for me. I like the color.
Sure.
Cool.
Go for it. But you guys can tweak that as well.
All right. Question is, what's next? Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Again.
Good side by side as well. I guess I'm on this one. NX01, the first tricorder. It's a little sleeve with a thing that pops out, which we have now talked about several times here. We'll see how I relay my thoughts. Looks a lot like the Orville one. Now I'm looking side by side, but with a bit more flatness. Does not have a blinking, but it's a proto. Does make a nice noise though. Is a screen and fits well the NX art aesthetic. Thoughts?
It's also protected when it slides in because it's got a bulky case around it,
Mhm.
which is cool. Never was a fan of this, honestly,
Mm.
but it makes sense technology-wise, I think. And oh man,
So we've now said a few things on other rounds we have to take into account here.
yeah. I think the pop-up feature's kind of neat. Like it's a good way to get a big screen that's not going to shatter if you like, whatever.
Yeah.
Retracts in, right? So, I don't know, man.
Well, it's funny looking at this. I kind of wish now the Prodigy one had the top bit with a bit of shell, had the lights on, and the thing would go blip up. That would be all you have to do to tweak it and make it more tricordery. Just saying. See, this feels very... We could make this in 30 years and be exactly what it is. It's a little screen in a box that works, right? Like, I think it looks quite nice.
Yeah.
Could it be not Star Trek? Absolutely. Or is it Pro Tricorder? Absolutely.
I want to say C.
Yeah, it's plain but logical, right? Yeah, I'll agree. I'll say it's just a solid C. Like, I do like it. If I was offered one for like $200 that was full working, I'd probably say yes. I think it looked quite... I mean, that flip up looked quite cool.
Yeah.
Oh, Elvis, S tier. Yes, there's a screen in a box. Absolutely. Like the Nemesis is a screen on a box. And the TNG is a box with a screen on and lots of buttons and stickers. Oh, here we go, Stuart. And you get this one, lucky you.
Voyager.
/DS9 / First Contact / Insurrection.
Yes. Classic. I actually have one back here. That works. My issue with it is every time they show it, it's always got the same bar graph. Doing the same goddamn reading.
It's very useful reading.
As far as a tricorder goes, I like the color. I like the metallic-y, like shiny, sparkly kind of color. Nice size as well. Fits in the hand. A lot of nice flashing lights for the scanner part, which faces out, and a lot of lights, which I think works really well for this one. And like I said, the size is good. It's I think it's smaller than the TNG ones.
Substantially,
it's a little more sleek and just feels better, I think. So I absolutely love this one. I adore it. So how about you?
Perfect.
It's an S tier.
Yeah, it's perfect, and it also addresses the big hinges.
It does.
Yeah.
Well, a little bit.
I mean, they're significantly smaller, right? No, it's beautiful. The scanning bar is perfect. It's significantly smaller, but it's that point of not being too small, which other tricorders here are just too small. It's very fun to... It's so thin, the bottom bit, which is a bit thin, that they have to have hand grips on the side. That's what you'll use them for. Actually, they help pull open because otherwise you have to use your nails. So it's designed that way. The screen's a really good size, actually, for the piece. When you hold it, like, okay, that's a logical amount of space. It doesn't need to be bigger. But it's everything the TNG does. Sleeks it. Does it nicely. Double flashing. Yeah, there's a top ring as well on top of the side. Beautiful. Keeps everything that TNG does sleeker and better.
And Herdshire, a 16:9 screen.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely perfection. It's everything I want from a tricorder. Too small, it would be bad. Perfect sleek. It looks so good on screen. Yeah, absolutely wonderful. And there's a reason it's the longest running tricorder. From like season 3 of Voyager, 3 seasons of DS9. So 5 of DS9, 5 of Voyager, 3 of DS9, 2 movies. Longest running tricorder. They didn't feel need to update it until Nemesis. That tells you how good it is.
Indeed. All right. Let's see. This one, I guess, is next. Oops. Might be better. There we go.
Ah, the medical version, Stuart. Go for it. Different screen.
Still perfect. I do like the way that the probe or the scanner slots in as well. It's just great. And that stand that they have for that looks cool. That's for the prop, but
Just like a mobile
like
emitter little stand. But New Yorker says, I've always found it amazing how Voyager managed to switch to these tricorders from the model before while trying the Delta Quadrant. I mean, they'd be in the computer somewhere as prototypes of these are being designed currently at this place. So they just finished them, right?
Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, I mean, this is a really nice version. As shown, it actually does flash with different colours at the top. I saw a video that actually there's a slight, as a different speed and different colour. Hard to notice, but it's actually, they put effort in to make them look different, because that's really it. Obviously the screen's different. The scanner is very small. It's almost, you lose it in your hands, but the fact that blinkies are so bright, both the single green and the means whenever you're holding it, it hits your hand, so there's always some interactivity. I'd always be worried it would come out, but I did hear that it's incredibly strong in there. You will not get that out. Yeah, an S as well. It's a fun type of functionality, and it's a good probe thing that feels. Isn't there one in TOS? A scanner like that? Yeah, McCoy's.
Yeah, McCoy's.
Yeah. This feels like a.
It just stores in the bottom thing of his tricorder.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, simply different.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Next up.
Or if you had the chance to only buy one, would you get with or without the probe?
Well, I already have the one without, so
I know.
I'd get it with the probe.
But if you had to only have one, you lost
The
the
probe, probably.
Okay. It's like
Although it
feature.
doesn't look as good on screen with the probe out, unless you cover it with your hand.
And that hole being on screen. Relativity. That's me again. Relativity, Stuart. This is the 29th century alarm clock turned tricorder.
Yeah.
Actually, oh my goodness.
Patrick James, $10. This is driving me nuts. What does the E and I labeled buttons do? I gotta know. Give me something logical that relates to the tricorder, to a tricorder. Well, it's library access. One would be internal, one would be external.
Oh.
It's your internal memory storage, and then external links to the ship or the computer nearby.
Wow, Relativity saving the day, man. Telling us.
Simple.
So this is a funny one because it is absolutely tiny. It is incredibly small, which of course is a 29th century tricorder. It is if you're going through the iteration, tiny tricorder makes sense. I love the pulsating light at the top. I think it's really nice on this. I quite like the amount of screen to button ratio. I quite like the way it opens. It looks quite good on screen. It's very easy to hide. I did build my little holster for it as well. It's kind of a guilty pleasure thing if you watch it on screen, because you just kind of have to blink and you'll miss it, because the first time you see it is 7 in the engineering. They always pull out tricorders, right? And wait, what? So it's kind of a satisfying, oh, it's different. It is a bit too small, but it's got its own unique charm. I've always kind of liked it. I did buy one as well years and years ago. It will be used somewhere or something. Wasn't my favourite, but again, what it says in the tin, it's a evolutionarily size-relationary tricorder. What do you think, Stuart?
Never been a fan of this one. It's too small and too flimsy looking.
Have you ever held one?
No. Especially those hinges, to me, just don't look good.
It's future space hinges, Stuart.
It's better hinges than the other ones, the TNG ones, in a way, but at the same time not. Because it's, to me, I've had a lot of things like that have little hinges like that, and they always break. So it just seems flimsy. I do like this screen where it is, and there seems a little bit of wasted space, but that's just where the folding thing goes. I'm not a fan, honestly. I don't hate it. And yes, it's smaller, it's more advanced, that's fine.
Arguably logical.
Yes.
Just not necessarily aesthetically pleasing.
Exactly.
Yes.
And Patrick James, $5.
Oh.
Thanks, Captain. I will accept your explanation. I can go to sleep now.
Yes.
It's not my explanation, but that's what it means. So
there you go. For me, this is a solid C because it makes more sense to me than the stuff in D. And it looks about on par to me as Enterprise. Like, it's nice. It's logical. Don't love it. Love it. But it's, I like it well enough.
I was going to say a B for an actual tricorder. It would be a B. For a prop, it would be a C for me.
I mean, It's funny, as soon as I started saying that, I said, but I do like it more than the Picard
Yeah.
one and then the Cardassian one. So yeah, give it a B then.
Yeah, I like the idea behind it, but I don't like how it looks. If that makes sense.
But also, you're not a fan of the general relativity tech, so
Yeah.
all of their future versions,
Or their uniforms, or their combat. Yeah, exactly.
all their phaser. Yep.
I deliberately didn't say that because it's just a pickaxe.
Shush you. And it's funny. This was the only thing here is a found prop. It was a alarm clock that was meant to be tiny and small, and they gutted it and made a tricorder. Because how's the smallest thing we can build and find, and yeah, crazy. Ah, yeah, this one you must like, Stuart. I'm guessing. What is it from?
Motion picture. You see, Ilea's fall onto the ground. But this one I'm not a huge fan of. Again, no display unless there's a holographic display that's supposed to pop up there, which would be really cool, actually. I do like the way you hold it, though. Hold it like this, and you got like the flat kind of work area. That's kind of neat. I want one just because it's a cool, unique piece from Star Trek, but I'm not the biggest fan of the tricorder design. There's no screen, there's no display information, so I don't quite know what's going on. If that bottom part was a screen, that'd be kind of interesting, but at the same time, it's weird to have all the buttons because it looks like size that up, put a chair in front of it. It's a workstation. So it came right after TOS. It's kind of a departure from what we've been used to. So,
but it's got a delta on it. Did they start the trend? Oh goodness, I just realized. This one's a funny one, right?
It's absolutely
because it's a brick with a brick on top, and it's not quite as sexy a brick as the TOS one, but it's way more functional looking. But it's a brick still. Well, I do kind of like the idea of holding it. So what, you'd hold it like this, and then it...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's... Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I'd need to hold a proper replica. Not a fan. Like, it's not like like the sizing would be very important. How big is it?
Yeah.
Doesn't look comfortable in terms of those edges. I wonder if they're more curved in the real one. I don't know. Certainly, yeah, the fact there's got no screen is very odd, considering they always had screens. Oops, no screen. And there's obviously a lot of room for a screen. I think that's probably a big misstep. And if the whole top line had been one giant long screen, weird to have something so long, but like it would have filled up the space with a few, even with TOS flashing lights, right? That would have improved it a lot.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know, guys. What do you think?
Well, I like New Yorker and Vegas's idea. The toy doubles as a tricorder for your kid and a station for your action figures. That can be seen falling onto the floor after Ilea was taken from the Enterprise. Yes. For a long time, I wondered what the hell it was. I don't know why. I mean, she was scanning the probe thing, but
it doesn't look nice, but it doesn't look bad.
The weirdest thing is, it's one that, out of all of these, it's one that I really want to own.
I know.
I want to own an actual prop of this.
Because you're a twok boy.
Just call me a twat?
Twok. The Wrath of God.
Yeah.
I would say this is a respectable C. It could easily be a B, but it is not.
I'd settle for that, yeah.
Okay.
That seems more than fair.
What do you guys think? Let us know in the chat. Hey, move it. You know, your super chats do this for us. A few more for sure on an epic tricorder look. Oh, and how's our poll going? Oh, at least another 15 votes on the poll, guys. Come on.
And we have 69 likes. And I love the number 69. We can do better than that with 76 people here. Let's get to 75 likes. Hit the like button. I have to imagine a holographic screen for that to make sense. Yes, 100%.
Yes. It would be incredibly easy to improve.
Yes. But if you guys want to move anything,
yeah,
super chat in and let us know.
I want to see what you guys think.
We will keep chugging along, and then make our final adjustments at the end here, as we always do.
Yes. Do you remember this one, Stuart?
I don't. Yes, I do. It looks like an Enterprise era thing, but
This is a confusing one, ladies and gentlemen. This is the way it was presented to us in the literality of it is this is a prop medical tricorder used on the La Serena as part of Rios's kit. Now, what does that
mean? Civilian tricorder.
What does that mean? Now, he was ex-Starfleet and he had lots of ex-Starfleet stuff. So is it a tricorder from when he left Starfleet, which would have been post-Nemesis, that he happened to get? Or is it a modern tricorder from when La Serena was, he wanted to update? Or is it the only tricorder he could get? Now, clearly it's Starfleet because of the old cars, but whatever, and the scanner's very
just be the software.
But the scanner's very Starfleet as well. So it is a Starfleet design, but is it a very old one that Civilian got? Is it when he left? Is it a new one? They don't know, you don't know, but we do know in the same kit there was a very TNG looking so. But is a tricorder not good, even a TOS1 in the era? Could it not scan still for medical stuff? Yes. So I do not think for a second this was designed to look post-Nemesis, because it doesn't. Like, Nemesis does not move into that, right? Because like it's a thing. The thing comes out. It's boxy and bulky and proppy. I don't quite get what it's trying to be.
See, to me,
yeah,
I think it'd probably be civilian and probably be older. Like I said, it looks almost NX era, so it could be like just an older one that has been updated with modern software.
Yep.
It wouldn't make sense for Rios because he's ex Starfleet.
But would you feel comfortable using a 300-year-old design?
Depends what it was, and if, like I said, the software is updated, so is the scanner, obviously.
Well, that is true. The actual scanning part is the scanner, not the box in this case.
Box just tells you what the scanner reads, so the scanner has to be updated.
Yeah, and it was definitely a modern scanner. So it's very strange. This one is another, and as we knew from later on, they actually had an original TNG tricorder hero prop in the office as reference. And they could have used it, and the prop maker said, that looked too dated, we'll do our own one.
Well, Devo77X says Girardi said it was old, and I do recall her saying that.
But old to a scientist could be 5 years, let's be honest.
That's very true, yes.
And old could be anything between 5, 10, doesn't tell us much, but it's not new. But like I say, they literally could have used a TNG tricorder, and it would look better than this, it would look more advanced than this, it would look more sexy than this. And the prop master said, it looked too dated, and this looks far worse to me as a prop, and more dated than a TNG tricorder. But I like what he said. It's like a future. It's like the assault phaser to the phaser. This is the assault tricorder NX era.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me. What do you think, Stuart? Where are you going to place it aesthetically? Because I do not know.
I'd put it in C.
High, low, mid.
Low.
I would agree. But I think design-wise, I might say it was a D. Because it's so not very well designed. But it looks okay. So I if you guys want to move it to D, I'm fine with the C. But I think you could argue D quite happily as well.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm looking at the stuff in C. And
it's a broad pantheon. But then, is it better than Nemesis Tricorder? That has a more interesting design.
Nemesis Tricorder is like better.
So could it not
be
be
a low C? Because I wanted to put the Picard Tricorder higher on the list, but so I'd say it's a high C at least. This one's a low C.
We will get there.
Yeah. Okay.
That final rearrange.
These fit so much better on the tier list than the phasers did. The phaser rifles. Just saying. Got 5 left.
At least 5 more super chats, guys. Let us know your thoughts, comments, questions.
And some more votes in the poll of possibly of 80, which is pretty good. But how high can we get? And we were also 1 like away from 75 likes.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this one that we just looked at has two things against it. It's old and it's probably civilian. But who knows?
Yeah. They didn't know, Stuart. They didn't know.
They didn't care. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Moving along.
Where are we going next? Ah, yes. This is a Romulan Generations tricorder that they find.
Which
on Amagosa.
This is just a kid's toy. It's like a little leapfrog computer. You can just tell by the structure. They just repurposed an existing shell, which they do a lot for props. I can't give them, any slack for that. But the fact that I look at it and that's exactly instantly what I see is a problem. You need to modify them a little bit more than that. This looks like one of the laptop things or the desktop things that Picard has on in the ready room. It just feels like
small though.
Computer terminal. Well, yeah.
Yes, trilithium. Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't really work for me. It's got a nice big display screen and a really funky interface as far as the lower section goes. Doesn't say Romulan to me at all. Wish it was a little bit of a different color. And if you had shown me this, I wouldn't have known what it was. So
that's why I do the research, Stuart. So yeah, I like the logic of it, that the screen flips up. You put in your pocket, you flip up, you hold like this, you work it, right? I like the form factor. Screens is good. It's very focused. The screen has the information. You click on the bottom. It feels like a translucent bottom. That's the data guts inside. I just want buttons. All I see is lines and some maybe like there's a. I get they're aliens, but also it's a physical working thing. Looks like a lot of things, but it works. I think reasonable as a tricorder. Actually, I think it there's nothing visible as scanning on it, but a lot of these don't have blinkies, so it's fine. It's alien, right? You got to judge it differently. What do you think, Stuart? What do you think?
I'd put it at a D, or possibly the first F.
Wow. Why? Was it just because kids' toy? You see that too much.
Nice. I just see that. Plus, I don't know the size of it. It looks like a.
Well, you can see the hand with it. I mean, it's pretty medium size. I'd say it's TNG size.
Pretty big.
Well, it's TNG size, but a bit wider. I wouldn't say it's, a bit more than a wallet. I mean, you hold like that. Not like super big. Put it in the pocket. Big pocket.
So it's more like a.
It's like a PDA.
iPad mini size.
Oh, a bit smaller than that, but yeah. Yeah, I would say it's not worse than stuff in D. I think it's just different. Yeah, I would say a fine D. It's a Romulan tricorder. It's all right. Hey, convince the audience super chat to an F. I am up for the discussion. Convince them, Stuart.
I said D first. The only reason I say F is because when I look at it, I see.
Do you want to convince them then?
But as a tricorder, I'm not looking at it as a prop. I'm looking at it as a tricorder, and that's where D works for me.
Okay. What do you guys think?
Super functional, that screen. So, yeah. Let us know, guys. What do you think? American Vegas says D. Open circuitry, unless it was supposed to be displaying. Yeah, well, it's just to make it look different and futuristic, I think. Hardshire. Okay, F it. No, well, you got to super chat in if you want me to do that. Mr. Captain says F. D for disappointment.
Well, how many of you even knew what it was or remembered it? Because I certainly, once I saw it, I remembered, but it doesn't exactly spring out in the movie theater.
Barry F, $5. It looks like an easy chair F.
Well, there we go.
Oh, well, it's the first F of the day. Dun, dun, dun.
The Praetor is coming for you, Stuart. The Praetor is coming for you.
I don't care. I ain't afraid of no Praetor.
I ain't afraid of no Praetor. Nice, Dan. Nice. Where next in the galaxy in the eras?
The TNG medical one. Patrick James, $20 F all the way. There you go. That clinches it.
Patrick, you beautiful, beautiful man. Thank you so much. Yes. The goals pass our first goal. Thanks so much. So this is the original TNG Tricorder medical with the giant slot on the top. Your thoughts?
I always hated this one because of that. I mean, yes, I get it. It stores the probe. That's fine. But it also has lights on it. So I'd assume it's an extra
module.
Memory module for medical database stuff.
Yeah.
Which makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. But it just looks so bulky and unwieldy compared to, like, just redesign a new tricorder instead of slopping that thing on the top of the regular tricorder. You know what I mean? So
now, does it
I have
change,
an idea where I think I should put it, but
does it change your opinion that we all owned one of these because Playmates made them? I assume you owned one of these, right?
Not a medical one.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's the only one I had.
I've never seen the medical one in Playmates.
Oh yeah. Like my dad owned the TNG one, which wasn't mine, so I never had it. I always bought the medical one, so that's the only tricorder I ever had growing up, and it was a real mental gymnastics to make sure I didn't lose the emitter thing, because otherwise it'd be like, well, goddamn. So I have fond memories of that, although I'm sure it's too small. But, you know, also the toy is not the right size. Yeah, this is so big. And it entirely... Oh, well, you've seen Red Dwarf. You have, yes? Yeah. It reminds me specifically of when Lister has his giant head of pus. So it's a man with a head of pus with a hat on. Like, a man extra. So this is like a tricorder with a big pus head. It's logical, I get it, but it makes it look worse. That said, when do you ever see Beverly, like, holding it and scanning? Like, she just takes it out, has it lower, and scans and looks. It's never like you know what I mean? It's not that.
Although there's lots of scenes I remember for putting the thing back in.
But it's never like done like the way. It's not used the same way, right? So it's more like just a mobile screen with a scanner. But it certainly ruins the prop aesthetic, and I've never once seen this in a holster. That would look silly. Wait.
The one saving grace is that they put lights on it.
Yes.
To indicate that it's something else instead of just a holder.
Yes. Would it have been better if they covered in the seam line and made it look like a giant top versus a top hat?
No, because I think in universe it's just an upgrade to the regular tricorder.
Yep.
It's like a plug and play option.
I think so. Yeah.
But like I said, I would have preferred if they just redesigned it and slightly and made it a little bit thicker, maybe like wider, and had like more of a medical look to it, but kept it the same size as the standard. I don't know.
But it is kind of nice that it's just a plug and play attachment. That's really kind of clever. It's just. No, what do you think? Given that the TNG is both an A.
I'm gonna give it a B.
Okay. I would be. Yeah, I would say high C, low B, because it takes away the classy bulk into an unclassy bulk. What do you guys think? A guy fit in Beverly's coat pocket. Yeah, that's a big ass pocket. That'd be heavy. These things aren't exactly light. I mean, they can be, I suppose, but yeah, Tricorder expansion pack. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, or a rumble pack for your tricorder. Remember the old rumble packs for the bottom of the N64 controllers?
The optional upgrade. Yeah. Would it be interesting to have like an engineer upgrade, like an engineering tool, like a laser?
Little hypo spanner.
You've seen Andromeda, haven't you?
I mean, yeah, some of it.
There's like a thing that you go, becomes a big giant.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It's like that, hypo spanner. Hey, spanner. Yeah, modular design is cool, but awkward looking. Yes. Well said. Well said. Yeah.
All right.
Tell us about this one, Stuart.
I believe it's a Cardassian one.
a Ferengi one.
Oh yeah, I should have known from the colors of the display. Damn it.
We had this discussion earlier, Stuart.
All right. You never said what it was.
I did. Ferengi Tricorder, Stuart, what do you think? And why is it your favourite?
It's not, and it isn't, and it wasn't, and never will be. Again, it looks like a Milton Bradley toy of some kind. Looks more like, I don't know if it's a tricorder. Is it a tricorder or like a calculator?
No, I looked. Wait, it does everything. A tricorder can calculate as well. I'm sure it's got a little button that can do.
I know, but I'm just thinking Ferengi. I can see Quark using this to ring things in.
It's not their pad. I did find their pad. This is actually their tricorder. They might use it for everything, but it's classed as a tricorder.
It's all right. It's alien. All right. Vivid display. That's fine. I don't know. I don't have many thoughts about it, to be fair. And yeah.
Yeah, this feels... It doesn't help we can see the resin grain. Feels like a prop. Doesn't feel like a tricorder. Clearly no love was put into being a hero prop. Has no lights, no sounds, no anything. Well, not sounds, but it's not got anything except staticness, right? Like you can tell as a sticker and not a display. It's absolutely fine. Kind of looks like their phaser as well, in fairness. If you had a little emitter on the front. So I approve of that. But, you know, it's designed to scan for gold and platinum and a pressing facility. You know, the question is it better than NC? Or is it worse than NC?
Oh, it's a D for me.
I think I'll agree with you, D. It just is a prop, Stuart. Yeah, it's like Nemesis is a pad. It's a little touchscreen thing. This is a...
It's like Purge the Machine, Ferengi Tricorder, brought to you by Texas Instruments. Yeah, it seems like any thing out of the 80s, either Texas Instruments or Milton Bradley. Feels like a gaming device. But yeah.
No shade on them, just hasn't got the charm. Oh, Aussie triple D. Goodness. D for dingy. Or dingy. Ah, are we ending on a high?
We're not done yet. There's one more after this.
We're almost ending on a high, Stuart. Take it away, Stuart.
This is the Star Trek 3 tricorder that you see Dr. Marcus using on Genesis. I always liked the design, but I hated the fact it didn't have a screen. It's okay, it's a scanning device, sure, but how do you get your information? How do you get your readouts? I like that it pops up and it clicks down, that's fine. Again, it's got the round thing on the front, just like the Kelvin one, which I never noticed before.
Stuart, bring up the Discovery one, because boy, put them side by side.
Yeah, I gotta find it. Hold on, they're all piled up here on top of each other.
What's funny is this doesn't look dated to me. If you made this as a prop today, I'd buy it. Maybe had a screen, but like it has a certain charm that isn't necessarily of the 80s. Not sure why.
Yeah. I've actually held one of these at Wonderfest, a prop one.
Look,
not a prop.
Look, they even did the buttons in the middle. Like, you can tell that's aesthetically close.
And I compared it to that one when we first talked about this.
It's really similar. Maybe not literally, but aesthetically. They're clearly inspired by this.
It looks like a Breen version. Because of that green light at the top.
Yeah.
More rounded, similar to the TOS kind of vibe, but again, lack of any kind of informational display is just concerning to me. Discovery did it better. I never thought I'd ever hear myself say that.
Now that said, right, what if the screen is on the reverse side where the person's looking?
That's cool then.
Because if that's the scanning module a la TNG, if that light flickered, and they're doing, because they're doing like this, right? Mm-hmm. So wouldn't they? Because if you're doing that, you're gonna
yes,
that's how they use it. So it makes sense to be on the side. We don't know.
Then it would be chef's kiss, because you got the Spock aspect, you see all the flashiness, but you also got the information display on the side that you're freaking looking at.
Yeah. I don't think it does. nor would you see it in the movie. I do like this. It's curved. It's the sexy black. I don't know what anything's trying to do. I don't know what those buttons are at the bottom. I don't know what the circle does. I don't know why there's 2 plating layers on the middle. I don't know why there's a grilling. I don't know why there's 3 white lights. I don't know why there's... I don't know, right? I can't see any logic in any of it. But as a nice curved package, it's kind of nice. Aesthetically. But yeah, it desperately needs a screen. Where would you put a screen then? Wait. Oh, the top comes out.
Yeah, it pops out.
Oh, I didn't know that. So why
you see him push it down.
Yeah. So why are the white boxes hidden?
Unless they're scanning equipment. Those are the scanning elements, maybe. The light is just a representation of what they're doing.
Did they think this propped through, Stuart? Do you think?
I don't know.
Don't know either.
Their communicators from this era are also kind of odd.
Yeah, I like one in 5 and 6.
Yeah, they got like one button, and it's just
it's
weird.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
They look nice closed, but open. You're like, why? What is happening right now?
Dan, I hadn't seen this before, which is fair. Like, there's only one scene of it really. But honestly, there's an amazing middle ground between TOS and TNG. Bridges the gap nicely. Except the screen.
If you want to know the scene it's in, Star Trek 3, they're on Genesis Planet. He's looking at the footprints that Spock left in the snow, and that's the scene it's in. You get a good shot of it, and then he closes it.
Never to be seen again.
Yep. This one I want to put at a respectable B, maybe a low B, but an upper low B, mid B. I don't know.
You talk to the ones for a second. Let me see if I can find if this thing has a screen on the other side.
Well, we're 80 people here and 79 likes. Let's get one more like to get to 80. That'd be awesome. Again, we're coming to the point where we shuffle things a little bit, and if you guys want anything moved, super chat in and we will accommodate that as we see fit. But yeah, this has been a fun one.
So the one that Marcus has is different quite significantly.
Who's Marcus? Oh, David Marcus.
Yeah, the character that holds it. It's not the same prop. Like the bottom is, but the top hasn't got the green lights nor... I mean, this is what I found. As in, this is what I found as being... Okay, let me bring in the one... I mean, that's what I found when I googled it. Let me see if this might be a more accurate one. Hold on. Like, it's still basically the same thing. It's just... That's very strange. Yeah, that one is very odd. I mean, it makes sense, and that one has different detailing. Oh, and these buttons... Oh, what is going on?
I don't know, because I can't see.
No, indeed. Fascinating. And that's actually a better picture as well. That's got more details, though. Gosh, interesting. Give me a sec. I'll bring it in and move it in. I don't think I like it any more, but it's interesting how different it is. But what do people think, Stuart? That is the question.
We got a B, B, or a C. B, B. Ozzy says it looks like Sulu.
Oh,
Sulu had one in Star Trek 3.
That's why I think there's probably... I think this is the 3 one. Or I think there's 2 versions. Okay, so this is actually what Marcus's one looked like.
That's better, because it's got a screen.
Well, it's still four dots.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, still 4 dots. If you turn that into a screen, hey, maybe, but it's not. Gut reaction, which do you like better? Left or right?
Left.
And another scene in the dark, because he does it several times. Those 4 blinkies turn green, and that looks rather cool. So that's where the green comes from. Interesting. I like it mildly better.
I'd put the one on the left in a B category. I'd put the one on the right on the C category.
So no. Minimally different. That's crazy.
Because those 4 could easily just be a display screen, right? Like,
But also, if the lights flashed on the right-hand one, that'd improve it significantly. You know, that pull to TNG. The problem is, I feel like, because I like the aesthetics, doesn't necessarily equate to being good. I think it's a better looking prop than Tricorder. We've had this debate a few times. It does not feel as functional as other things, but it's a nice looking prop. Like TOS looks more functional to me. It's obviously higher.
So where would you put the left and right then?
I would put both in between a B and a C, with fan negotiation between. If it had a screen, easy B for the left, but it doesn't. Guys, decide. I'm right in the middle there. I mean, if that's not a 3D print, put a screen there, tweak the design, make it better. You know, easy win, easy win.
Interesting.
What do you guys think?
Very interesting. So there you go. They're between B and C.
So vote now, guys. Gorgonzola, when episode was it, or movie was it shown? Because I can't find a reference for that. Yeah, I couldn't find one from Beyond even though I looked. Everything came up as being the same. Alright. Where next as people decide?
Well, next is the last one.
And then we'll rearrange as need be.
Klingon.
Klingon. Famously stuck to a big pipe to steal particles.
Yeah, I always got.
Well, no, you're right. No, similar prop, so it's not the exact same. That's got a handle and stuff, but similar looking prop. It's all the same. It's like
they're Klingon. They're functional.
It's like the communicator is very similar as well, but this is what they call Tricorder. So.
Yeah.
Can you talk malts or not? I don't know. Maybe.
Bulky, good Klingon aesthetic, but the display screen is like more like less than useless. Might point in the direction of things, but there's all the information you get, you know. So again, make it a little more functional and have it display some information, and we'd be golden. I think that also pops, that slides down that top part on those. But
yeah, I mean, it for me it goes past the, it looks like a prop feel, because it feels like they put character into it. However, the character is, let's add some grilling and screws.
Everybody's freaking out because we don't have the Wrath of Khan one that Savick had. I think it's very similar to the motion picture one, if I recall correctly. Just different color.
Yeah, I thought they reused everything from first to second film. That was kind of the joke. Oh, the poddy thing. Oh yeah, the. I did. Yeah.
We will pull it in. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah, I forgot. It's the away team gear looking one.
Yeah.
So it kind of it feels as if it's a non-standard, which is it's fine.
The Klingon one I want to put as a D as well.
Okay.
Just because I'm speciesist and all the weird species ones go down there.
Stuart, but you've never used a tricorder to use it in the original Klingon.
And that's the rumor.
I would agree, D. It's not got the screen.
Yeah.
If they put some money into it, and yeah, rivets are unnecessary for sure. And last but certainly not least, Stuart, is the Star Trek II Wrath of Khan.
That thing.
The away team bonus one with a giant screen at the back, which is how they see in the reverse view. Your thoughts on this famous, infamous tricorder? which you can now buy as part of the XO6 Rathacon bundle.
Nice.
Mm.
I like the screen idea,
Mhm.
and it's very bulky. It's got a nice, easy grip handle, I guess. It's other than that, it's hideous. But a lot of the stuff, equipment-wise, in Star Trek 2 was, because even the communicator was just an old walkie-talkie shell from like World War II, right? So. But I like that communicator. I have one. But yeah, I can tell it's like a World War II thing. This was also a similar vein by the looks of it.
Looks like a found prop they just shove stuff into.
Yeah. This is a D or an F for me.
The problem is it looks just terrible. Doesn't look Star Trek. Doesn't look advanced. Doesn't look a tricorder. Looks to me like the aliens. Beep, 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 beep. They're coming! Looks like that prop, which I assume that the film was after this. I wonder if that was inspired by this. I would say aesthetically it's in the F category. The fact it has a screen back, which is very functional, would be a D. But aesthetically it looks terrible.
So it's a hot garbage F.
Whew. What a victory lap there, which is funny because you love Star Trek 2, and yet there's a few things maybe not so much.
Yeah, standard issue like field equipment, heavy duty gear. It's like weird.
Exactly.
No Bajoran tricorder? I guess not. We'll inevitably miss some guys. But
no one gives you credit for doing all the research. They only complain when you miss 1 out of like 30.
Yep, I know. I'm willing to move both of the Star Trek 3s into C territory, just because they don't have screens.
There we go. A high C, aesthetically.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that amazing? All of C are bulky in different reasons. Like, they all have a certain bulk to them, which is not quite elegant as B. Right, guys, now this is the time to move things. This is our official first round list. Now is a chance to move some things. We'd love another 3 or 4, 5 super chats would be tremendous if your passions come into play. And then we'll do our final ranking, how we end up thinking if any of these things now in contrast we feel differently about, because they might. You don't know. We don't know. We haven't got that yet. So guys, throw in throw in some final super chat thoughts before we do our final move. Or if you guys are fully happy, hey, we'll just do our final move and you'll have no more say.
That's the way it is. Hit that like button if you haven't already. We have 88 likes. I'd like to try to get to 100 if possible.
Yes. Do let us know. So many tricorders. It's a long road getting from this tricorder to here.
Something like that.
And there is a prototype tricorder that was designed, I believe, by Rick Sternbach as kind of a potential future one that they then didn't use. They did something else instead. And a fan actually made that for the first time like 3 years ago as a full hero. So it looks very, very canon because it designed at the time by the people, but it obviously wasn't made, so we will not include it. But there's a couple of I guess I could have included the low decks one, but that's just, would not have been a high.
The purple stripe, the orange stripe, the cyan stripe, they're all in the Cerritos crew handbook.
Yeah, where would you put that one? I'd put it a low C probably. Boring.
Yeah. C.
There we go. Ranked. Yeah, your final. A wrist one for insurrection. Don't remember wrist one for insurrection. Because they use it. They use a normal one too. Well, I'll let you do your final thoughts. Okay, Stuart. Anything here that because you guys have put or not, anything that you think should be moved or tweaked? that you're now looking at. Oh, Patrick, yes, he has come in.
$20.
Super.
Klingon design explains why they always lose against the Federation. Useless. Maybe useful for hand-to-hand combat. Solid F. Ooh. Okay.
And Jesse, I can't find one, so you're saying it, but I can't find any. You Google it and nothing comes up except the one we've already had, so... The internet does not think there is one.
Jesse said you forgot the Beyond one.
The internet doesn't say there is one. I can't find one. Send a link in the chat if you can find a picture of a shot from it, because I couldn't find one.
They can't send links.
Oh.
Only moderators can do links.
Well, there you go.
We're at the end of our time as well, so...
Gone over, in fact.
Too bad.
Alright, anything here you think should be moved now in retrospect? This is our time to move things.
Maybe move the Picard one up to B, but that's a very... It's very functional as far as display surfaces go and information. And maybe put the Cardassian one at F too.
Wait, Cardassian one? It's from C to F.
Oh, sorry, not the Cardassian one, the fucking Ferengi one. The Ferengi one looks Cardassian. Come on.
Hey, MAD Nest 2 S201.
Madness 201. Pretty simple.
Look, my brain didn't see that, okay? I was gonna say,
mine might not either at some points because I have dyslexia, but every now and then I see that shit.
Well done, Stuart. You're living it for us both.
Is that one on the far side of...
No.
No, the ones on the far side are all non-Star Trek, which were included for some strange reason.
Well, because one's a TOS tricorder with a box on it. And one's Enterprise one with a curve. I mean, they're very, very literally trying to be other stuff. Oh, no.
I think we've got a good ranking, honestly.
The only thing I would say is... But then it's sort of a contrast thing. The only thing I would say is that maybe the Endgame tricorder into an A. So I think it looks better functionally than everything in B. Like, more balanced, but just by a little bit. Because it's a tricorder, it's got all the lights, all the sounds, all the whatever, it's good in the holster, like, it's a nice proposition, a tad too small, but then you could argue TNG is a tad too big. Because it has everything a tricorder needs.
But that's the reason that the Relativity one is in B, because it's just too small.
Yes, but Endgame is just a little bit too small compared to Nemesis, like Voyager, a little bit.
You want to move Endgame one?
I'm saying that's the one I'm seeing this. I'm pretty happy. That's the only thing I would say. In contrast, I think it's a better design, but I'm happy to keep it. But that'd be my only thing.
I think it works where it is. I mean, I could move it, but I don't think it deserves an A slot. You know,
well, that's the thing.
Like...
Yeah, it's more just better than stuff in B, but not. Yeah. Very interesting list. Very interesting. So we've got the classic in S, New Yorker, and the Voyager DS9 Future 1, as in modern future, is S. A is all standard TNG, late TNG. B is where we start to get the plethora of Stranger Worlds, Endgame, Discovery. Hey, good job, Discovery. You did it. Prodigy, Relativity, and TNG version 1 medical. C is you get the random stuff, really random stuff. You've got Cardassian, you've got Picard, you've got Enterprise, you've got Star Trek 3, you've got Picard with some era, and Star Trek 3 and 4, 5 somewhere. And D you've got Sneeze, along with JJ, Nemesis, Ferengi, and F, Romulan, Star Trek 2, and Klingon Star Trek 4. That's a broad list, Stuart. That's a broad list.
I think that's Klingon was in Star Trek 3. They had it on the Genesis planet. Krug was using it.
But isn't that his it's not the same.
He was using a
okay, cool.
thing at one point.
Don't remember that bit. Love the scenes. I don't remember the tricorder. It was weird to make
I think
two
he was scanning, and then he went out of frame, and then he pulled up the tricorder. Yeah.
With that great sound that for some reason it giant click. Oh, Halo. Hey, Halo 2 RVB. Love Rose Blue. Well, classic one. The TOS isn't an S to me at all. Why so? It's pretty. It's classic.
Because it looks like the 60s, and the 60s are awful and cheap.
I'm sure they're very expensive to make at the time.
Oh, yes, that was for sure. A screen that small, like even the duck neck or the gooseneck things that they had in the cage, those small screens were super expensive back then.
That's why it's funny, because it doesn't look cheap at the time. It was not cheap. So what's the word cheap come from? Because nothing about it's cheap. It's very expensive. And in fact, nowadays, the replica that's been made by the one company, they're like 3.5 years over time. It turns out what they're trying to make is so intricate and expensive and complicated that they had to like keep redesigning it, and like it's so expensive.
So you forgot T'Pol's. LOL, just messing around, guys. Well, if T'Pol's, the Vulcan one, I think was round, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like a round screen.
It flips up too.
Just never found it special. Well, that's how old are you? There's probably a reason you never found it
Halo
special.
2, I'm guessing. I'm going to guess you're either 33 or 27.
Yeah, somewhere in
More
that
likely
range.
30, slightly older than me. Okay, vote now, Halo 2. Do you prefer anniversary or classic? Vote now! What do you think, Stuart? You going anniversary or going classic?
What do you mean anniversary or classic?
Just answer the question, Stuart. Don't think about it.
Classic.
Okay, cool. 37. Oh, it's a bit off. Dual wielder, right? Amazing.
Yeah, he's younger than Sylvia, so I mean, yeah, I can understand why you don't like the TOS one. It's fine.
I mean, I'm younger than Sylvia. I like the TOS one.
I know, but you're also
crazy. Yeah. Well, the thing is, I also saw I come from a point when TV was not as prevalent in the sense that there was TV time and there was Lifetime. So if this was in the house as a sci-fi prop presented to me, this would look cool and advanced, right? Because that's what I was being presented as. Unless you know what context, unless you know other stuff that looks more advanced this would look advanced because you have no thing in contrast. Like, wow, a screen that small that can scan and learn information. That's really cool. Like, that would be cool. It's just now we can make it. Yeah, votes for classic. Yeah. I like the character models on the anniversary. They're very faithful. All right, final.
What are we talking about?
Halo 2. It's his name. The video game Halo 2. Stuart, come on. Get up with the kids, the 30-year-old kids who are talking to you about Halo 2. Oh, this is so much fun. All right, Stuart. Final super chat slot.
Yes, final super chat. Snipes can come in right now. Who wants the last super chat slot? Right now it's Patrick James with a killer $20 one. But Snipe Wars can consist of dollar super chats. Who wants the privilege of having the last super chat, Snipe? And if you haven't hit like yet, please do so. We have 93 likes. I'd like to get closer to 100. But now's the time. We got to wrap this up. So do your things, guys. We've given our lists, and we didn't change much, if anything.
That's kind of rare. I kind of like it. I think for the rifles, we changed like 6 things, didn't we? It was kind of a lot.
Yeah, we did a lot of shuffling. I feel like this one should have had the vertical tier list as opposed to the horizontal one, but because look how empty the tier list is. Just these fit so well in there.
Yeah.
TOS is an A for Halo 2. The rest are right in his opinion. There you go. That's fair. That's fair. At least TOS is getting an A from you. That's appreciated.
Here's the thing. It's not sleek, but it's for the time. It's very curved, sexy. Like it's kind of an odd. If it was a box, it'd be terrible. But it's not. It's yeah. Yeah. Tracking.
All right. Well, let's close the poll down. We have 106 votes.
Yes.
Which design do you prefer for the classic tricorder design?
Goodness.
TOS wins with 59%, Strange New Worlds 29%, and Discovery 11%. So.
Well, there you go.
Cool.
Nice.
Wow.
What are we doing tomorrow, Stuart?
Tomorrow we're doing a TNG episode review of the episode Ethics, which is season 5, episode something. It's the one where Worf breaks his back.
As you guys know, these are not just reviews. They are detailed, scene-by-scene breakdowns. You do not find normally such in-depth reviews out there. So, as in like
yeah.
Sometimes just moments are being reviewed.
Scene by scene, the good and the bad, good effects, bad prop, great prop.
What was that acting
good writing,
choice?
Shit writing. Yeah, wonky acting choice. Yeah, shit like that. We break it down scene by scene, the good and the bad and the ugly.
Yes.
That's what we do. All right, well, I guess we'll call it there. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you.
We do.
These tier lists are always fun, so thank you for participating.
Yes. Indeed.
And we'll see you tomorrow. So until then, he's Commander Cocky.
He's Captain Foley. Bye, guys.
And I give him an 8 out of 10. Just 'cause.
Thank you. It's pretty good.